Wow. I thought it was it for me for the evening, and then this happened. So there was a shooting, and they said it sounded like it was from the west side of the White House. And I got footage, so you can hear the actual rounds that were fired off. And, this happened on a Saturday. Well, if nothing else, the reports are a bystander was hit. So that was about it. So I don't know if Donald Trump will be talking later on tonight, doing a speech or some type of press conference on this, but I'm sure is going to be a lot of chatter about it. And again, this is their Memorial Day weekend. And look at what's happening, y'all. All right. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to pick up your hair products. The entire store on Shopify, Etsy, and TikTok Shop. You can get your hair products for 40% off. And there's no limit. So you can buy one item or 12 items and it's still 40% off. All right. Okay, y'all, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down.
Some breaking news at the White House. Moments ago, several shots were heard at the property. Details are few, but CBS's Aaron Navarro is there and was outside at our live shot location when all of this happened. Aaron, what do you know? And we obviously saw that you were there being told to get down immediately.
Jerika, from where I was in the press tents outside the White House, you could hear about 20 to 30 gunshots from what seemed like outside the White House grounds. It also sounded like 1.2 guns going at the same time, though, again, the details are fluid and are unconfirmed. And we have heard from initial law enforcement reports that it happened at the 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue intersection, which is right beyond the building for staffers at the West Wing, known as the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. We could not see the shooters as we ducked down, but we did start to see Secret Service roam the north lawn of the White House as they yelled at us to get to the press wing and get inside. Currently, the White House is under lockdown. There is a Secret Service agent right outside the doors to the press briefing room, and you can see some of them start to roam the north lawn of the White House today. But this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House, and came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down.
I have some new information about that shooting at the White House. And so here's what we've learned. And we've gotten this information from a few sources, as well as from FBI Director Kash Patel. So we've gotten a clarification on the shooting itself, that the shooting took place outside of the White House gates, just a short distance from the White House itself. Secret Service has responded to the shooting. And so there's a rather active scene just outside of the White House. Journalists in the White House press briefing room, traditionally they are there to do a number of reports for various networks and their own news organization. They remain on lockdown, so they can't either leave the press briefing room or new journalists are able to come in. We do know that the president is at the White House. Currently, he is okay. No injuries reported to anyone at the White House now. We do have this tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel talking about the investigation, also saying too that the FBI will also be assisting with this investigation. The president is at the White House. No one has been harmed. The White House remains on lockdown. Authorities are investigating. Be sure to like and follow for more.
Some really disturbing news just coming out near the White House. Many gunshots were just fired around the White House complex. Watch this harrowing video from reporter Selena Wang, who was on the scene when this happened.
President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
A really terrifying scene there, as you saw in the video. The reporters went to the White House briefing room. They are all reportedly okay. Other reporters said there were about 20 to 30 gunshots that were fired. And Scott Stedman here says that it sounds like there was an initial burst of 6 to 8, but total maybe around 35. A lot of information, though, right now that we do not know, including who the gunman was or what happened or who returned fire. Again, a very scary scene for Selena Wang and her colleagues at the White House today. And it's just another day in America where no matter where you are in this country, you have the possibility of being surrounded by gun violence. But I hope everyone is okay, and I'll be sure to keep you posted on the latest of this developing story.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
Midas Touch is reporting right now 20 to 30 shots fired outside the White House. Reporters literally had to duck and cover. They've been told to hide out till the Secret Service can figure out what's going on. Sorry, I'm rushing this. I'm going to slow down now. Again, there is video of reporters doing news stories while gunshots go off behind them, and they had to duck and cover. And they're reporting 20 to 30 shots fired outside the White House. Secret Service has told them to literally hide until they find out what's going on. I saw the video. You could hear the shots. You could see the reporters running for cover. Right now, there's a situation at the White House where 20 to 30 shots have been fired right now at the White House. I'll get you something new as soon as I can. Holy crap.
Holy crap. The White House lawn was just cleared after what sound to be multiple gunshots being fired. This is breaking within the last few moments of time. Selena Wang, who is the White House correspondent for ABC News and has been there since 2023, was in the middle of recording a spot when you can hear what appears to be gunshots breaking out in the background. Now, I'm going to give you a trigger warning before I play the video. There are lots of gunshots. Check this out.
Deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
Now, obviously, there is a whole lot more to learn and unpack here. Everything I know about this situation is contained within that video that you have seen there. I can't verify any other information about it at this point, and I would encourage everyone to not speculate on exactly what happened until we get more information. But suffice to say, there is a big situation unfolding at the White House as we speak.
What is that? What is that?
Sounds like car.
Today, but this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House correspondence.
Really quickly, breaking news in case you haven't seen, there were shots fired around at least the White House. Reports of 20 to 30 shots fired. Selena Wang, who is a senior White House correspondent for ABC, was there and was actually recording something when the shots happened, and you can hear them on this recording. I'll play it for you in a second. But at least as of now, the White House is secure. All the reporters who are there are inside and safe. It doesn't seem that it happened on White House grounds, but it was close enough that you can hear this. And obviously this is developing, but for now, this is her video.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
We have breaking news right now. As of about 10 minutes ago, CNN is reporting that there were sounds of gunfire heard near the White House. Allegedly, there were dozens of shots that were fired. I have a video from ABC's Selena Wang. She was in the middle of a report when the shots rang out. I'm going to show that to you. That's all the information we have. We are waiting for some sort of confirmation or message or announcement from the Secret Service. I'm going to show you Selena's video. So if you are triggered by the sounds of gunfire or distressing reactions to that, please go ahead and scroll on now.
Only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
We also know that earlier this afternoon, the national security team was called back to the White House by President Trump. This includes Vance and Hegseth. Whether the shots fired and that calling back to the White House of that national security team is connected, we are not sure at this time. They could be two completely separate events. As we find out more information, I will keep you updated. I want to operate in fact here as developments seem to be happening by the minute.
Breaking news, shots fired at the White House. Take a look at this clip.
Deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
Those are multiple different weapons, multiple different calibers, multiple weapons that I heard in that clip. I think I heard between 2 or 3 separate weapons in that clip. It's worth pointing out that the Iranian parliament has put a bounty on Netanyahu and Donald Trump. I must point out to you that all senior leadership, government and military and otherwise, including J.D. Vance, has canceled everything and rushed back to D.C. right before there were shots fired at the White House. It's also worth to point out that Donald Trump has had assassination attempts on him before. I'm going to be following this story very closely, so if you want to follow this with me, drop a follow on TikTok, drop a follow on Instagram, and I'll keep you guys updated. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, y'all. Sorry about that. This is still a developing story. And I'm sure, especially over these next 24 hours, more is going to come out. And, from what I understand, the White House is still on lockdown. It's still on a lockdown after pew pew was heard on the west side of the White House. Now, I don't know how many of you might have heard that. Um, they're saying there were plans to pew pew Ivanka, that they're targeting her because of the ones that Donald Trump took out. So I heard that recently today. Now, I don't know how true it is. There are, people chattering about it online. I don't know, but I'm sure if that is the case, Donald Trump sure will probably mention it. But y'all, this has been a crazy year. Sure been a lot of shots going off this year, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But now I don't know how the media is going to spin it. They may spin it as another assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We know how all the other ones have gone. So they may stay on that path of, oh, this is another attempt. But, because we know the Iranians said they are going to get Donald Trump. That's what they're saying. So, okay. Randy Sparks, thank you for the super sticker and your support for my channel. FBA Queen Senior, thank you for the super chat. No sound, Lisa. Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. So, y'all, as more comes out, I'll talk about it a little more tomorrow. This is the holiday weekend, and I really don't think it was a lot of people up at the White House when this occurred. So, but like I said, as more details come out, I'll do another live. So, y'all, thank you for being here. I know it was sort of a last second thing putting this together, but you now know, yeah, there's some people that don't believe it, like that last attempt at the White House correspondent dinner. It was a lot of people finding that one hard to believe. So now we have this one just weeks later, this one. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to pick up your hair products, and I will see you tomorrow. I don't think I'll be coming back tonight. But they said one person was hit, a bystander was hit, but I did not hear anything about someone else up at the White House being hit by all of this pew pew that was going on up there. All right, y'all have a wonderful evening. Shalom.